and share my screen. And then you can choose what questions you would like for me to ask you in this lesson. Would you like to choose quite a topic in the ESL conversation website?
You can choose for me, I guess.
Okay, we'll talk about this one, the importance of going to university. Are you interested in this?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let's talk about the first question. What are some potential advantages of going to university, and how can it positively impact someone's future?
Mm. I guess one of the biggest benefits of going into the university is,
Going to university, not going into.
yeah, going into university is achieving a diploma that
Mm-hmm,
can be showcased to your future employers.
mm-hmm,
Um, Getting into university is such a mandatory activity for many people
mm-hmm,
who want to get a high-paying job.
mm-hmm,
So I guess most people still have to go through that route
mm-hmm,
to succeed in life.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can someone be successful without a university degree?
How is my flow though? I know I can be not fluent sometimes. I can make weird like gaps and hesitations.
Mhm.
I
It's
think,
just the you're doing that again. The pitch, the really high pitch at the end of sentences, where it sounds more like a question, like what I'm doing right now.
mhm.
So you have to like try to find a way to minimize that or eliminate that habit.
Okay.
But other than that, the flow was good. I do see what the examiner was talking about when he meant that you made a lot of pauses. So try to minimize those pauses as well.
Do you have any tips other than listening to podcasts?
Um, you have to record yourself. You should record yourself. That's my recommendation. So record yourself in your free time. You can answer some questions and record yourself, but then listen to your recording
Mhm.
and try to detect any faults or any flaws and try to minimize that and perfect. Practice makes perfect. There is a reason why this saying is very popular because it's true. Practice really does make perfect. So my recommendation is that during your free time, you should answer questions yourself and record yourself. Listen to your recordings, listen to your own voice, and try to detect the mistakes that you make, where, and why you made those mistakes, and try to minimize that.
Mm.
All right. So, can someone be successful without a university degree?
Yeah, there are several success stories
Mhm,
from entrepreneurs and different venture capitalists
mhm,
who just dive straight into the workforce and
mhm,
learn the experience on the job.
mhm, mhm,
I think it's very necessary for them because they don't have to waste time
mhm,
on degrees that may not be useful for them. They
mhm,
may gain valuable experience that and communication skills. They can have a head start before others for others. That's why it's very helpful sometimes to dive to go straight into the workforce.
okay, to dive. Why did you change your mind when you said dive into and then straight into the workforce? That might not go over well with the examiner. You have to stick to one and not
Yeah,
hesitate. Yeah.
because I already said dive into before in the same answer.
It's okay. It's okay. You can say that again. Don't let the fear of sounding repetitive cause you to stumble on your words, right? So it's okay if you say dive into again. That's all right. You can say straight into in another sentence.
Okay.
Right? So yeah. Moving on to the next question. How important is it to choose the right university and the right program of study?
Regarding educational institutions, you may have to do very thorough research
Mhm,
before enrolling in them because some universities are very prestigious and
Mhm.
can lead you very far in life. On the other hand, if you waste money on
Mhm.
universities that have no fame, employers may overlook you in the hiring process,
Mhm.
and prioritize other candidates who graduate from more competitive universities.
Mhm.
Um, about programs, I guess it's just very important to know your strengths and weaknesses before selecting the right program to study.
Mhm.
Um, when you pick the wrong type of study, you tend to feel overwhelmed and
Mhm.
give up too soon. So I know it, you have to make that snap decision before registering for a course.
Mhm. Absolutely. Now, do you think that it's important for the young, this is a side question, an additional question or a follow-up question to this question. What should a fresh high school graduate do before choosing the right university and the right program of study? Should he or she make this decision on his or her own? Or should she or he seek counseling from someone?
Mm. Um,
I might throw unexpected, spontaneous questions at you.
I know, but there
Mhm.
are many of them at once, so I cannot, I find it hard to process. So I may take more time to answer.
Oh, no, it's just an option.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, there are two options that a fresh high school graduate can do. Either choose the right program of study in university on his or her own, follow his or her own instincts, no matter what people advise them, or seek counseling and listen to others more experienced, more older.
Yeah. Um, if I had turned back time and become a fresh high school graduate, I would have taken a gap year to explore my interests and to shadow some companies to pick the right career paths for me. I would have picked a different college major instead of the one that I pursued because I know that a college degree costs an arm and a leg, and you need that very thorough thinking and analysis. You may have to consult parents and loved ones. So I think children, so kids fresh after high school can make decisions on their own or their parents. However, it is wiser to take a gap year to ponder about life and their interests.
You said to think in a throughout. Don't you mean thorough?
Uh,
Think, yeah,
yeah,
think it
thorough.
through, or think it thoroughly. Which
Okay.
one did you mean? Yeah. So
Think
let me go to our
thoroughly.
chat. Yeah. To think thoroughly or to think it through,
Mhm.
right? To think it, to think thoroughly
Mhm.
or to think it through. Which one did you mean?
Thoroughly.
Oh, thoroughly. Okay. All right. Should university education be free for all students? You mentioned that university degree does cost an arm and a leg, and I can't argue with you on that. But do you think that it should be free for all students?
Mm, university degrees should be free or low of charge for underprivileged students from very like or from poverty, like who live in poverty, right? Because they may not be able to afford their education and may have some repercussions in life from a lack of higher education, such as a lack of social mobility and a lack of, success in life. Um, in general, however, I think people should still pay for colleges to support teachers and distinguished scholars who are very invested in their intellectual abilities and their effort to teach students. These tuition could also be invested to improve infrastructure for colleges across nations.
Excellent, excellent. So in a way, the government or the country is investing in itself when investing in university education for underprivileged students, right? They can potentially boost their future educational and economic situations, right, in the countries.
Can you talk about space exploration or something like that?
Oh, so you want to change the subject?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Just some topics that are beyond my knowledge. I want
Oh, you want, okay, interesting. I was wondering why the spontaneous change. Um, so there's Elon Musk, UFOs.
UFO
Uh,
sounds good. I have no
okay,
idea about
okay.
whatsoever, but I'm in the IELTS. I will receive like some random topics I have no clue about.
Ah, interesting, interesting. Have we done ethical questions?
Yes, we have.
Okay. All right, so UFOs. Let's take a look at the options, the questions that we have. Um, do you believe that UFOs could be evidence of extraterrestrial life?
Mm. Honestly, though, I think an unidentified flying object can be reliable evidence for signs of life outside the Earth because they are way too advanced for a man-made invention, which signals that these objects are not man-made, right? The objects are way beyond the scope of our technology. So, yeah, that is very obvious to me.
That sounds fantastic. What a really good kind of like what a really good insight as to the materials and the build of the UFO itself could be something that is not man-made, right? Now I have to say no. If I were the one answering this question, and if I was taking the IELTS examination and this question suddenly popped up, I would have to say no. And the reason why I say no is because a UFO is an unidentified flying object. It is not a guarantee that it is evidence of extraterrestrial life. It could be from another country, it could be from their military or from their science base. It could be some sort of project or experiment that they are making that seems unusual and looks unusual. So it is not a surefire guarantee that a UFO is an evidence of extraterrestrial life. It could be from another country. It could be a science experiment conducted by scientists in NASA, you know?
Okay.
So, yeah. Do you believe that you have that extraterrestrial life exists? Do you believe that aliens exist?
Mm, they could exist, and I'm not very sure about their existence. I cannot make a bold claim. But sightings have proven the likelihood of them lurking around the earth trying to scout our habitat. Um, there are also some fossil evidence from the past which shows like this skeleton of these alien looking creatures. Um, yeah, I feel like interstellar voyage, it's a big concept nowadays, and the universe is so vast that we cannot really gauge what it's out there. So I think there could be a high chance that these creatures exist.
Very good answer. Again, you're absolutely right. There is a high possibility that extraterrestrial life does exist. And as a matter of fact, NASA have discovered that there is a huge potential of living creatures, small living beings living in other planets other than ours, right? Um, to understand or to confirm whether or not these living creatures are as intelligent as humans, it's still questionable. It's still unexplored or undiscovered area of science. We need NASA or other space programs need to make further research, right? Deeper research. So, do you believe that if extraterrestrial life does exist, do you think that they could be intelligent as humans are? Or do you think they are sort of like animal-like creatures who can barely speak or talk or create, have the ability to create or have any knowledge whatsoever? What do you think?
Um, Honestly, I'm gonna make a smart guess. They could be more intellectual than us, because of the portrayal of this unidentified object. Like I previously mentioned, they are a bit too advanced for our current technology. That being said, the evidence is still very murky and unreliable. So I don't know how we can identify, or how we can accurately assess their intelligence unless they do like a same standardized test. Yeah.
Excellent answer. Moving on to the next question. Um, how do you think, number six, how do you think the media and movies have influenced people's beliefs and perceptions about UFOs?
Hmm. Um, Science fiction movies have the tendency to sensationalize events that are beyond human understanding and comprehension. Um, so that's why I do not fully trust what they present on the movies. But I like some of the visions, and I feel like they are very creative and all that. However, I do believe that they sometimes uh, they sometimes kind of permeate this sense of fear mongering among us, because if we watch these movies, we may be afraid of what is about to come in the foreseeable future. So, yeah, I think people are easily influenced, some people, of course, not all, by these science fiction movies. Yeah.
I agree with you. I believe that, the producers and the makers of this movie, of course, have one thing and only one thing in mind, one goal, and which is, financial profit. So in a way, they are capitalizing off of people's fears, right? And portraying sorry, not animals, portraying aliens as villains that will, kill humanity, put an end to humanity and take over the earth and steal our natural resources, when in reality, it could be completely different, right?
Right. I like the word capitalizing off, right?
Capitalizing off of people's fears. I'll type that down for you.
Capitalizing off of people's fear.
Mhm.
Okay.
Capitalizing off of people's fears. Okay, moving on to the next question.
Can we do a part two, and then move back?
Oh, oh, sure. That means I will have to open the link which you have sent me. Mm,
Do you believe in ET?
I honestly do, really. I, what if something that I'm sure about in life is that anything is possible. So
Okay.
yes, I do. I do believe that there's the possibility of ET existing is there. Yeah, possibility does exist. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna do part two, right?
Mhm.
And would you like me to choose the topic or will you?
Yeah. Please choose.
Okay. I can't remember what we have done and haven't done. Oh, since we're on the topic of movies, then I'll choose cinema. Okay. Or maybe not. It's a song about a trip to cinema. Let's see. Decisions, memories, we've done that. Hobbies, interests, behavior. Have we done behavior?
Yeah, just pick it. I don't know.
Okay. Let's take a look at behavior, see what it says. Describe a time when you or someone you know did something wrong. Who were you with? Where were you? What happened? And how did you feel about this incident? That's a good question. So I'm gonna set 1 minute on the clock.
Mhm.
Okay, you may begin to prepare your answer.
Can we do another one because this one was done before? I talk
Oh,
about
okay.
the cheating boyfriend.
Oh, okay, okay. I don't remember that. Perhaps it was with another teacher, not me.
No, it was me. I
Really?
I made up a story about my best friend having
Oh,
a.
that's right. I'm sorry. I have so many students. Sorry. I could have like more than 10 students a day, and they're all different students every day. I apologize. Housework. Have we done housework?
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Or maybe machines.
That's fine too. Machines or buildings.
We have done buildings. I remember important buildings. I remember I've done that
Okay,
with you. Mhm.
machine. Okay.
Okay, machines. Machines it is. Tell me about an important machine in the home. You should say what it is, who uses it, and why it's important, and how do you feel about this machine? 1 minute on the clock. Time's up.
Okay. Um, I will describe the refrigerator, which is probably the most important electrical device in my family.
Mhm,
We have this Toshiba fridge. It has been in our house for 20 years and it's still in peak condition. I must say that this device is worth every penny because it is so smooth. It saves energy and it runs smoothly without any issues for many years. We all use it to access ingredients, which are always kept fresh in each box, in each plastic container that is attached to the fridge.
mhm,
Uh, we love that, the fridge is also has a ice maker.
mhm,
In the summer, we often dispense some ice to our drinks mm,
mhm,
to make some nice cocktails or juice. Yeah, it is just a, a lifesaver in scorching hot summer months.
mhm. So,
The only downside to this device is that
mhm,
it is a bit far from the main cooking area because
mhm,
we didn't have enough space because the machine took up too much space when we first moved it inside the house. So we had to leave it outside in the back of the house. However, it was a blessing in disguise because the machine create some noise that could disturb the peace inside the house. So yeah, we don't mind this at all now. And I feel like this machine, it's absolutely useful. It is such a godsend because it stores fresh ingredients and it has many cool features for our family.
Mhm. Wonderful. I think that it's the refrigerator is a very important and valuable machinery in the household. Keeps food ingredients fresh, which is really vital, really, really crucial. So very good answer. Moving on to another part. Would you like to do part three or stick with part two?
Part two is good.
Okay.
So
Oh, this is
sorry, I said electrical device. It's not a good one. Machinery.
electric device.
Okay. I see. So it's not electrical device.
No, electric device.
Mm-hmm.
This is a really good one because it is a hypothetical situation, would like. So we're talking about a hypothetical future. This is a very good one. Describe a house or apartment you would like to live in. You should say where it is or where it would be. What would you like to do there? Who you would or would like to live there with? And why would you like to live in this place? This is a very good topic. I will set 1 minute in the clock. You may begin.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
time's up. You may begin.
Mm, there is this mansion in Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, that I would like to reside in the future. I
Mhm,
saw this mansion in a documentary about wealthy people, and I must say that it looks so majestic and spacious. And
mhm,
because of that, I would think that it would be a nice place for families,
mhm,
especially my family, to move in,
mhm,
because children could run around and scream without disturbing neighbors. Because from the documentary, I could see that um, the neighbor uh, was not within walking distance, right?
mhm,
So yeah, I think this place would have a large pool in
mhm,
the garden for the children to swim. It would have a nice garden with a very massive front porch for barbecue parties. I would invite guests like celebrities and other cool friends that I have to socialize and mingle in this place. Um, I would also admire the panoramic view of Los Angeles from the rooftop.
mhm,
I think it would be so cool to overlook the city at night when the lights are out. Honestly, I would definitely reside in this place with my family, but it would feel kind of lonely though because of how vast the space is. I know that the trade-off would be a lack of community because I'm living in Vietnam right now, which is very vibrant and it's full of a lively community. Everyone is very friendly to each other and neighbors know each other. So in this house, in this mansion, we would feel more, I guess, more desolate, more isolated Yeah, but I would trade it instead of I would trade this house. I would trade this confined space that I live in for this house for sure. Yeah.
Mhm. Wonderful. That was perfect. I have no negative feedback about your answer. It was really good.
Honestly, at the end, I kind of stutter.
It's okay. It was not really noticeable. Moving on to the next question. The next topic.
So no,
Describe a
no pronunciation issue.
no, absolutely none.
Okay.
Absolutely none. Describe a house or apartment that you have lived in. Would you like to do this one?
Okay.
Okay. You should say where the house or apartment was located, what the house or apartment looked like, what kind of rooms and features it had, who you lived with, and what was your experience living there was. So this is a area of residence which you lived in but no longer is living in. Okay. I will set 1 minute on the timer. You may begin to prepare your answer now. Time's up.
Okay. Mhm. I would like to describe a one-bedroom apartment that I lived in 2 years ago. This apartment was located in center city of the largest city in Vietnam, Ho Chi Minh City. I've moved there 2 years ago for work. I had a golden opportunity to work in an American company. Um, Honestly, though, I regretted that decision because even though the apartment was located very near to my workplace, it was uh very cramped and it felt very stuffy to live there. There was only one bed and the area to work or to walk around was only 10 square meters. So it was just a pain to move around freely. On top of that, the view outside of the window was depressing with a cement wall of some random house flashing before my eyes every morning instead of like beautiful trees and blue sky. I lived by myself and I didn't like it because I like to have a roommate to share stories with. Um, if I had turned back time, I would have chosen another uh house, another apartment that was bigger in size. I didn't even have space to cook, and I had to cook in the bathroom, which made it a living hell for me. I thankfully had moved out of that place and moved back to my hometown. I'm not very I'm proud to say this, but I do like to live with my parents because in Asian cultures we can take care of them and can save on rent. Yeah.
Um, three points I would like to point out. So the first one here, I tapped it down. You said, honestly, though, I regretted that decision. This right here, honestly, though, it doesn't sound natural. You shouldn't say that. Instead of honestly, though, you should say, however, I honestly regretted making that decision. So instead, you should use a transition word, however, right? And
Mhm.
it was a pain to move around freely. you were not able to move around freely. So you should not make this sentence. It's inaccurate. You were not able to move around freely,
Mm.
right? So instead, you should say, I wasn't able to move around freely, or it was a pain because I wasn't able to move around freely. You could say that. And the third point that I would like to highlight is that you hesitated too much. You paused too much. It was too frequent, your pauses and your hesitations.
Mm.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on to the next topic, or topic 3.
Go back to ET, please.
ET, you
Yeah,
mean the UFO topic?
yeah.
It's not ET. Okay. Um, Number 8, if UFOs were proven to be alien spacecraft, how do you think it would change our understanding of the universe and our place in it? How would it change people's perception or portrayal of extraterrestrial life?
Mm. We would not underestimate these aliens anymore, because of the advanced technology of their spacecraft.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had we might have had looked down on them and thought that they were inferior to us, but no, they may be superior and they may be even surpassing us right now, right? Yeah, I think so. That's it.
They may be surpassing us. Doesn't make sense. Their intelligence may surpass ours would be better, right?
Okay.
Yeah, it feels like something is missing when you say they may be surpassing us. Um, so you could instead say their intelligence um might surpass ours.
Okay.
All right. What's next? Topic 3, topic 2, or continue UFOs?
Mm.
Maybe we can talk about Elon Musk's and his quest to colonize Mars.
I have no idea about that man.
Okay.
Ever since he kind of neglected his
Mhm,
children,
mhm.
I just despise him.
Then maybe since there are no more UFO questions, we'll go back to the IELTS speaking practice.
Yeah, okay. Just
Okay.
maybe some random
Mhm.
part 1 question for a change.
Describe a teacher from your past. What about that one?
Okay.
Okay. Describe a teacher from your past that you remember. You should say what class the teacher taught and how old you were, or what subject, what the teacher's special qualities and characteristics were, and why you remember this teacher. I'll give you 1 minute starting now.
Yeah. What did you say? Sorry.
Yes, I'm here. You still have 5 seconds.
Okay.
Okay. No, yeah, time's up. All right, you may begin.
I want to describe my teacher in mathematics,
Mhm.
Juan.
I would like to describe my mathematics teacher, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to describe my maths teacher, Juan. who has a heart of gold and likes to stand up for people that are kind of bullied
Not people that are, but people who are.
in people who are bullied at my
Mm-hmm.
school. I
Mm-hmm.
was one such victim of
Mm-hmm.
bullying. I was relentlessly bullied when I was in elementary school
Mm-hmm.
because of my short stature. I, I was mocked, I was ridiculed, and some kids even snatched my bags
Mm-hmm.
and threw it in like the backyard where I couldn't find it. Um, the teacher uh, not only was very skilled in her teaching methods and her lessons,
Mm-hmm.
but also very patient and understanding. She listened to my complaints and advised me to keep tracks of all the bullying incidents that I encountered. Thanks to her, I had refrained from inciting violence, just like they did to me. Um, I had successfully like submitted the report to the school, and the kids who bullied me ended up in detention,
Mm-hmm.
and they stopped afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had fought back, I would have had faced the same repercussions as them, being in detention and perhaps being expelled from school.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's such a wonderful teacher, and I would like to go back in time to thank her, because back then I didn't thank her enough. I took her for granted after that, and I thought that she just did her job, to safeguard the students. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Just typing down my corrections. All right. She was just to okay. All right. So let me show you my corrections. You said just like they did to me didn't sound natural in my ears. Perhaps just as how they treated me would sound better, right? And not she just did her job because it was a continuous activity, right? Past continuous. She was just doing her job. Now, just is optional here. So you can say she was doing her job. You could say that.
Hmm.
Okay. All right. And when you said, I would like to go back in time. Now, something sounds wrong with that because going back in time, I'm sorry, that's my son. Okay, sweetie, 10 minutes, please. This is why I mute a lot because my son is really loud. One second. This is why I mute a lot during my lessons because my son interrupts my lessons. Yeah. So as I mentioned, yeah,
That's like
going back
a
in time.
reality. That's a
I'm sorry.
reality. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
that's an understand. That's like a understandable for working moms.
Thank you for
I
understanding.
don't mind at all. Just that's the future for me. I expected.
Thank you. Thank you for understanding. So as I was talking, as I was saying, going back in time is not realistic at all. It's impossible, right? Physically, scientifically impossible to go back in time. So, instead of saying I would like to go back in time, it would make more sense if you say, if I could go back in time, I would thank her, right? Because going back in time is impossible, nonsensical. So instead of saying I would like to go back in time, you should say if I could go back in time, I would thank her.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. All right. Another topic too.
Uh, okay. Let's do like a fun activity. I don't know.
A fun
Like,
activity.
do you have any fun
I
activity?
I like debate topics.
All right, sure.
So debate topics are opinions. I'm not sure whether or not I have done this with you, but this is a very popular activity with a lot of my students, nearly all of them, the majority of them. So I would show on the screen an opinion, and you have to agree or disagree, right? Whether or not you agree with this opinion, and you just have to tell me why. Um, okay. TikTok is damaging children. Would you agree with this opinion?
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me
Children,
why.
children are spending too much time mindlessly scrolling on TikTok, on content that provides little to no value to them, instead of reading or socializing with friends. They may strain their eyes, their bike posture, and they may not learn valuable things at all. In fact, they may learn misinformation from TikTok because the information there is not guaranteed to be true. Yes.
All right, so do you know the difference between misinformation and disinformation?
No.
So misinformation is information that is inaccurate, and disinformation is information that is purposely made accurate. You can do a little bit of research after the lesson, okay? So that's going to be your homework. You have to research the differences between misinformation versus disinformation versus fake news,
Okay.
because these are different, they have different meanings. That is your homework. Research the differences between these three, okay?
The disinformation is probably like twisted one that is deliberately false.
That's right. Disinformation has been purposely manipulated by someone or something or an organization to for their own personal advantages, their own to fulfill their own personal ambitions. It could be political ambitions, financial ambitions. They are purposely manipulated. Misinformation is information that has been innocently misunderstood by a body of people, right?
So, for example,
Mhm,
like Michelle Fan used to say, clean beauty was
mhm,
not regulated in the US. And Michelle Fan thought it was true, but it turned out it was false,
mhm.
right? It is
Yes,
regulated.
yes. And fake news is a news organization that is not certified, is not reliable, is not an official news organization. It's amateur in a way,
Mhm.
right? That's fake news. So you can definitely do a little bit of research and further explore the differences between misinformation, disinformation, and fake news, because they have different meanings. Moving on to the next opinion, and I like this one. It's a very popular one, and my students are very split down the middle on this one. Artificial intelligence will make humans less intelligent. What do you think?
Mm. I wholeheartedly agree
Mhm,
that AI will make humans will decline humans' intelligence
mhm.
because
Decline humans' intelligence, or will decline. Decline means like reject, not decline like going down. Decline as a verb is reject. So I wouldn't say decline humans' intelligence. I would say would cause the decline of human intelligence.
okay.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Nowadays, people rely too much on ChatGPT to
Mhm,
to really like summarize the information or
mhm,
conduct research. Their
mhm,
brain tends to become more stagnate the more they use AI
mhm,
because critical thinking and gathering data are such valuable acts that can really make you smarter. And
mhm,
people are sacrificing that for the sake of convenience and speed. And I just feel like when people are put on a spot nowadays to solve an issue and to answer a question. They may find it hard to organize their thoughts coherently.
Mhm. Because they haven't practiced their critical thinking skills, right?
Yeah.
AI causes a lack of practice of critical thinking skills.
Mm-hmm.
AI causes a lack of practice of critical thinking skills. Very good. Moving on to the next opinion. Too much emphasis on individual freedom can lead to chaos and instability in society.
Absolutely, yes. A resounding yes. We have seen this in liberal society
Mhm,
when people place too much emphasis on their individual rights. It's as opposed to communities where they live in. Therefore, they become too sensitive and they like to voice out their thoughts and they like to play the victims, even though they may not become victims. They are just they just face the same struggles as everyone else does. So that could lead to dramas, chaos, and discords in a society because these people like to cosplay as victims, even though their concerns are not very valid. Okay, some of them can be very, realistic, like maybe their survival, maybe their lives are in danger, maybe they are in poverty, maybe they are homeless.
mhm,
So those are real concerns that should be addressed as opposed to concerns that are more or less, inconsequential.
mhm. So you mentioned earlier that you wholeheartedly agree with this opinion, right? Can you tell me about the individual freedom or the freedom in general in your own country, within your own society and community?
Mhm.
Um, it is known that Western countries, there is a more stronger emphasis on freedom in Western countries, right? As soon as someone reaches the age of 18, they immediately move out of their parents' house and they are adults, considered as adults, and they can live their own life and make their own decisions. Basically, they're free to do whatever they want. On the other hand, it's not usually the same case in Asian countries where it's more traditional, more conservative, right? Where adults would still live with their parents and still, listen to their parents' advice and apply their advice in their lives, right? Tell me about the perception of freedom in your country.
Mhm. Yeah, so um, I even though I do not agree with some of uh
Mhm,
the lack of freedom of speech in my country,
mhm,
the restraint on some a certain self-expression
mhm,
because they may infringe upon
mhm,
certain groups of powerful people. I mean, yeah, that happens in every society, even in the democratic states, right? People
mhm,
are incarcerated because of voicing out their dissatisfaction with the governments. And it doesn't just happen in Asian societies. And
mhm,
uh I love that Asian societies have that community
mhm.
with the sense of
A strong sense of community.
strong sense of community, which is very wholesome, which is better for mental health. At
Mhm,
least in my country,
mhm,
Vietnam,
mhm,
people know each other. People don't have to schedule appointments to meet their parents.
mhm,
Uh, they can, hang out with friends and seek out the help of neighbors. Uh,
mhm,
because they don't really like this is still value that human connections.
mhm,
And I know that freedom of speech is suppressed, but that can be a blessing in disguise because
mhm,
we have witnessed some chaos
mhm,
in Western society when people
mhm.
are when
Blur the lines between freedom of speech and discrimination or
uh,
racism. Yeah.
yeah, when people are fighting each other and
Uh-huh.
on the internet as well as in person,
Mhm,
because they have too much uh too much of their own thoughts, and they
mhm.
don't really care about each other. Like
Not they have too much of their own thoughts, but they express their own thoughts too much. Yeah.
express their own
Pe-
thoughts too much. That
mhm,
could be very detrimental to mental health if you lurk
mhm,
around these online communities, and if you um and
mhm,
it could also, you know, drip down to the real life situations.
mhm. It could trickle down to, you could say that.
Trickle. Can you write that down?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Okay. Alrighty.
Trickle. Okay, trickle. I know, right.
Mhm.
CKLE. Okay, trickle.
Yes.
It could trickle down into protests and other disrupting events
Mhm, mhm,
that, yeah, may threaten the livelihoods of people around the city.
mhm. All
Yeah.
right. Excellent. I'm going to make a reminder here. The last debate topic is number 32. Do you like the debate topics?
Yeah, like it.
Yeah, me too, because sometimes because topics do exercise our critical thinking skills, right? And sometimes when my student agrees with a topic and I disagree, we would kind of like have a little discussion as to why my student agrees and I disagree, or if my student disagrees with the topic and I agree, then vice versa. So it's
But
very
you
good.
agree with me. I haven't seen you disagree.
I have agreed with you so
Okay.
far, but we'll see in the next lesson. Perhaps there's a topic in which you agree, but I disagree, or if you disagree, but I agree with the topic, and then I'll tell you my reasons why. Thank you so much, Mai, for this wonderful conversation. I'll see you in the next
So
lesson. Bye. Take care. Have a good day.